Hare Krishna. So again, I'm starting chapter 13, Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Vibhaga Yoga. It is about asking, Arjuna asks 6 questions. Lord Krishna describing Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Jnana, Jnanam, Prakriti, Purusha, and union, and the vision of knowledge. And Kshetra means the field or the body. Kshetrajna means the knower of the body. And the main topic is the discrimination between the Kshetram and Kshetrajna. That is why it is called Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Vibhaga Yoga. And I also explained that if you sow rice in the field, you will not get wheat out of it, right? So whatever good, bad actions you are sowing, the destiny is going to be according to that. That was what about the first slide. Then we come to the second thing, that bhakti is the culmination. Then why jnana is being explained in the presented in the last? Because the first 6 are actually the whole Bhagavad Gita is about bhakti yoga. And in the first 6, it is explained how bhakti can be achieved through karma, through work. And the last 6 is how bhakti can be achieved through knowledge. And in the middle, there is a pearl, which is devotion or bhakti itself. So our whole thing is we need knowledge to detach ourselves from the Maya and to attach ourselves to Krishna. And we need to use knowledge as a means to attain devotion. It becomes part of bhakti. Now, before we move on to the other shlokas, let's see Prakriti. It is material nature, mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Purusha is enjoyer of Prakriti. Kshetra means body. Kshetrajna means the observer in the body, the soul and the super soul, both. So our soul, individual soul, and super soul, that is Paramatma. Jnana means knowledge, understanding what is body and what is soul, understanding Kshetra and Kshetrajna. And Jnayam, what is the goal of this knowledge? What do we achieve out of this? Paramatma. So please remember these terms. I will be asking you in between. So Prakriti is like, it comprises of Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas. Okay. So guna actually in Sanskrit means rope. It's like a rope. It is tying us with Sattva guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. It is tying us, right? Like a rope. But in English, they have changed the meaning to mode. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, right? Purusha is like, you know already, living entity. Kshetra is body. Kshetrajna is soul. I'm repeating again so that you remember. Because the whole chapter, you will keep coming across these words. So Jnanam is the knowledge. So you understand that both body and super soul are there. Jnayam is what is the goal? To know Paramatma. Shlok 1. Who is reading today? Please be ready. Arjuna Ovacha Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetrakshe. Sneha, do you want to read the shloka?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, read.
Arjuna Uvacha Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrajnameva cha Etadve Veditum Mikshami Jnanam Gyayam cha Keshava. Mataji, next also.
Yeah, next also you read, yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramithya Vidhiyate Etadyo Veti Tam Prahu Kshetrajna Iti Tatvidah.
Arjuna said, O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, Purusha, and the field, and the knower of the field, and of knowledge, and the end of knowledge. The blessed Lord then said, This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field.
So Arjuna was very curious, inquisitive about what is Prakriti, nature, material nature. Purusha, what is it? God, the enjoyer. Kshetra, what is that? It's the body. Kshetrajna, what's that? The knower, the soul, the super soul. Knowledge about what? To understand both super soul and soul. And what is the object of knowledge? Why we need that knowledge? What is the goal? We need to know that there is a Paramatma inside. So when he inquired about all this, Krishna said, this body is the field. And one who knows this body, he is the knower of the field. It's very simple. So Krishna begins explaining. And he starts the topic of to differentiate this body and the spirit soul. The soul, which is inside here, it is divine. It can neither eat, it can neither see, it can neither smell, it neither hears, taste, touch. Yeah? The soul cannot be cut, it cannot be destroyed. It is called Kshetrajna, the knower. It knows the body. So here body is like a container, it's like a receptacle container where the activity or the action, whatever we are doing, is put in that. It is collected in this body, right? And it is termed as Kshetra, or the field of activities. Yes, Neha.
क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोः ज्ञानं यज्ज्ञानं मतं मम.
O second of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion.
Soul is the only knower. The only knower of individual field, of its own body, right? My soul knows my body activities. Now Pushpanjali is reading. Pushpanjali's soul will know her body activities. Gunashri Mataji is there. Her soul will know her body activities. Sneha will know her body activities, her soul, and so on, right? So even in this limited context, the soul's knowledge of its body is incomplete. It's not complete. Still, it's not complete. Only God is the knower of all fields of all souls. So how? Because he is situated at supreme soul. There is a soul, there is a supreme soul. There are two souls here. One soul, individual soul, and one supreme soul, Paramatma. He knows all the souls, but this one individual soul knows about my body, right? So Pooja's body, soul will know about Pooja's body only. So that is the difference. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Hopefully you'll understand. So God's knowledge of each body is perfect and it's complete. God knows everything. He is the knower of the fields of all the souls, being situated at supreme soul in the heart of all the living beings. So what Lord Krishna, he creates, or he establishes the position of three entities in relation with each other. One is the body, material body. One is the soul. And the third is super soul or supreme soul. That is Paramatma. So what is it that we need to know? It is to understand ourselves. We have to understand Supreme Lord. We have to understand the body. And what is the difference? What is soul? What is super soul? What is body? We have to know the difference. That is true knowledge. So now we are trying to gain knowledge. In the next 6 chapters, we will gain knowledge to increase our bhakti. So in this light, so many people are there who have done masters, they have done PhDs. They may think they are well educated, but if you still do not understand the difference or the distinction between body, soul, God, then according to Krishna's definition here, they are not knowledgeable at all. They have no knowledge. Yes. Please be quick, okay?
ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतं छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदश्चैव हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितः.
That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writing. It is especially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect.
Everything is there in Vedanta Sutra. Of course, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, he is the highest authority, right? Who can explain this knowledge. But still, we have other sages, we have other learned scholars, we have other authorities who are giving evidence, who are giving proof that this knowledge is there, and it is like about Vedas are there. These are not just the names of some books, right? They are eternal knowledge of God. And then there is Chandobhi. Chandobhi is also what? It is part of Vedas, Vedic literature. Like, for example, there is Taittiriya Upanishad. It's a branch of Yajurveda. And what knowledge do we get from reading that? the Upanishads, what are they describing? They are describing the material nature, the three modes of material nature, the Sattvagun, Rajogun, or Tamogun. It is also describing about the living entity, super soul and soul. And then it is also telling us about Lord Krishna. So it's saying that we come to know through Vedas and we come to know through Upanishads that it is true and these things are there. So we need evidence, right? So Vedas are giving evidence. Yeah.
महान् भूतान्यहङ्कारो बुद्धिरव्यमक्तमेव च इन्द्रियाणि तदेशकम्.
Sneha, I will read, no worries. Okay, I'll read. I'll take on from here. Thank you so much. Mahabhutanyahankaro buddhiravyaktamev cha indriyani dashekam cha panchachendriya gocharaha ichha dvesha sukham dukkham sanghataschetana dhritihi etat kshetram samasena savikaram udahritam. Somebody
The
else
five
can
great
read. Someone else can read. Want to read? They can read.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please read.
The five great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, the mind, the five sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms and convictions. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions.
So five great elements. What is body made up of? Please tell me. You can see the picture also on the screen and tell me somebody, what is the body made up of? Five elements. Intelligence, mind,
Water,
air, water, fire, the gross body.
yes. Okay.
Panchabhuta.
And Panchamahabhuta. Very nice. Very good. So then we have false ego, intelligence, and then they are saying 10 senses. Who can tell me? The five senses, tell me. There are five working senses and five knowledge senses. Tell me five working senses. It's there on the screen.
Eyes, ear, nose, tongue,
Yeah.
skin.
Excellent.
Five senses.
Five working senses are? It's there
Body,
on the screen.
mind, false ego, intelligence.
No, it's there on the screen.
Voice, hands, legs, genitals, hands.
Venus. Yes. So those are five working senses, and five knowledge senses were ears, eyes, nose, tongue, and skin. Now, what is their mind, intellect, and false ego? This is the subtle. So Krishna is saying about the 10 senses, these five knowledge and five working senses, he joined both, or made it 10, and he added mind to it, saying 11. Then apart from all this, there is desire, there is hatred, there is happiness, there is distress. He says these are the life symptoms. And this is considered to be in summary. So overall, you have Pancha Mahabhuta, the five elements, earth, water, fire, air, space, ether, whatever you can say. Pancha Tanmatras is five sense objects, that is taste, touch, smell, sight, sound. Working senses are voice, hands, legs, genitals, and anus. Knowledge senses are ears, eyes, tongue, skin, nose, mind, intellect, and ego. Prakriti means material energy, Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, right? So subtle energy or unmanifested means cannot be revealed. So what cannot be revealed? The mind cannot be seen, intellect cannot be seen, ego cannot be seen. So Lord Krishna uses the word dashaikam, dashaikam cha, he says, right? So he means dash means 10, dashaikam, 10 plus 1. So what is he indicating? The 11 senses, 5 knowledge and 5 working senses plus 1 mind. So he is including mind along with 5 knowledge senses and 5 working senses. Then other than that, he says desire, hatred, happiness, distress, these are all interactions. We keep interacting, right? With the elements of the body, we keep interacting. Sometimes we have desire, sometimes we have hatred, happiness, distress. So he's adding that. So what does body represent? The body is representing all these factors. We are using everything. And there are changes in the body. There are 6 changes in the body. What is that? Body is born. First it's born, body is born. Then it slowly grows. It remains stable. It remains, then it produces babies, byproducts, begins to decay, and then it vanishes, dies. Therefore, the body is called the field. It is non-permanent. It's not permanent. Body is not permanent. Kshetra, body, not permanent. Kshetrajna, the knower of the field, soul, super soul. It is proprietor or permanent. That is different. Let's see more. So now you can see the field of the body. It has 5 koshas. On the body, there are 5 sheaths covered. It covers the soul. The soul is covered by these 5 things. First is Annamaya, Annamaya kosha. You can go in level 2 and you will learn in detail. I'm just giving the basic knowledge. It's the gross sheath consisting of 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. That is called Annamaya kosha. Then again, the soul is covered by Pranamaya, which is life air, prana, apana, vyana, sumana, udana. So these are the life airs. Then you have jnana, manomaya. So that is what is that? It is the mental sheath consisting of mind and 5 working senses: voice, hand, legs, genitals, and anus. These are all there with the body. Then we have vijnanamaya. What is that? It is the intellectual sheath consisting of intellect and 5 knowledge senses: ears, eyes, tongue, skin, and nose. Everything is covering the soul, right? All this. And last is Anandamaya. And this is bliss, which consists of ego. It makes us identify with the tiny bliss of my body, mind, and intellect mechanisms. So when we are in totally blissful state, right? So in Jnanamaya, what happens? Realization extends beyond the living symptoms to the point of thinking, feeling, willing. It is all transcendental, right? Then total transcendental activities is Anandamaya, totally into Supreme Lord, right? Anandamaya is total blissful nature. But out of these, the first 3, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, these involve the field of activities of living entities. Then there is Brahman realization. In Vijnanamaya, we have start getting Brahman realization, right? Then slowly the living entity's mind, life symptoms are distinguished with living entity himself. Slowly we come to understand what is going on. And then we go to Anandamaya, blissful state, completely blissful state. This you will learn in detail later. Okay. So in this picture, I would want to know what is going on. Can somebody describe this picture? Can somebody tell me what is happening? Anyone?
Ma'am, in this picture, the rats are representing the days and the night. They are just cutting our daily life. Okay. And the person is hanging by the tree, and that elephant is just shaking the trees. And with the help of the god's obeisance, the person can release from the this janam maran chakkar.
Nicely explained. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. The tree, just see the desire, man is hanging, he's falling. In case he falls down, what will happen? There are poisonous snakes in the lake, he will die. If he doesn't, elephant is already pulling the tree, right? The mad elephant, it's pulling, so he will again die. Then there are rats on the tree. They are biting his hand also. But that man, he's so greedy. There is a beehive on the top of the tree. If you can see the beehive, the bees are also kind of stinging him. But that the honey is falling from the beehive, and this man wants to taste the honey. You can see how much danger is all around him. And there is this God. He's extending his hand. Come to me. Come to me. I am here only. But the man is so engrossed in this material nature, in this taste of honey. Even though he's surrounded with so much of danger, he is trapped in Maya. He doesn't care about anything. 4 things Krishna says you must do. Manmana amavad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaivam atmanam matparayanaha. He says, engage your mind. Always think of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me. Worship me. Become completely surrendered to me. I will come to you. No, we are stubborn. We are totally trapped in Maya. We are very busy trying to lick that little bit of honey that is coming in. We don't even know how much we are, we are surrounded by so much of danger. This shows how much we are trapped in Maya. Okay. Manitvam madambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharya pasanam shaucham stairyam vinigraha indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktirana vishvangaha atrada dwara grihadishu nityam cha samachi tvatvam ishtanishtopapatishu मयि चानन्ययोगेन द्रव्यभिचारिणि विविक्तदेशसेवित्वं परतेर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतत् ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा.
Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance.
He has very clearly declared what is knowledge, what you have to understand very clearly with all very simple words. So, beginning from practicing humility up to the point of realization of God, of the supreme truth, absolute personality of Godhead. This process is like a staircase, beginning from ground floor, going up to the top floor. Now, on the staircase, there are so many people who have reached the first floor. Some have reached the second floor. Some have reached the third floor, etc. Right? But one who reaches the top floor, which is understanding of Krishna, right? He is at a lower stage of knowledge, right? If somebody has gone there, then he has reached. But anyone who wants to compete with God, and at the same time he wants to make advancement in spiritual knowledge, cannot. You are competing with God, and then you want to attain that, you will be frustrated. So it's very clearly stated, you have to have the humility first of all. Otherwise, without humility, you will not try to get knowledge at all. So once without humility, understanding is not possible at all. So although we are all being kicked by these laws of nature, as you have seen that man is being kicked from all sides, we still think that I am God. Why? Ignorance. It's total ignorance. I am the doer. I know everything. I am independent. It is I who is doing. So where is the beginning of knowledge? So the beginning of knowledge is therefore with humility. Amanitvamadam bhitvam. Amanitva means humility. Start with humility. One should be humble and know that we are subordinate, lower than Supreme Lord. Start your meditation, start your devotion from this ladder, and then you see how far you will go. Yes, please read. You have to say humility, amanitvam, not to be anxious, to have satisfaction of being honored, like that.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Humility, amanitvam, not to be anxious to have satisfaction of being honored. Pridelessness, adambhitvam, understanding you're not the body and thus honor and dishonor the same. Non-violence, ahimsa, unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. Tolerance,
Shantam.
Kshantam. Be practiced to bear insult and dishonor from others. Simplicity, Arjavam. So straightforward that you can disclose the truth even to an enemy. Accepting a spiritual master, Acharya Upasanam. This is essential. Cleanliness, Saucham. Bathing, external, chanting internal. Steadiness, Sthiryam. Determined to make progress in spiritual life. Self-control, Atma Vinigrahau. Reject anything unfavorable to spiritual advancement or control the senses. Renunciation of sense objects. Indriya arthena vairagyam. not to cater to unnecessary demands, gratified only to keep body fit for these. Absence of false ego. Anahai karau. Reject I am
Anahankara.
this body. Okay. Reject I am this body or mind. Accept that I am Krishna's servant. Perceptions of evil. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi.
Dukkha
Regularly
doshanu
hear
darshanam.
Dukkha doshanu darshanam. Hare Krishna. Regularly hear about these from the proper source. Become disgusted with material life. Detachment. Ashakta. Be ready to sacrifice everything for Krishna. No entanglement with wife, children, family, etc. Ana Anabhir Vaigo Putra Dara Gahadino. Should practice if you can do it in a casey way, but
Yeah, Krishna
renounce if
consciousness way. Somebody has
okay,
typed it Krishna conscious. Yeah.
yeah, Krishna consciousness way, but renounce if unfavorable for Krishna consciousness. Even mindedness. Nitya cha
Samachi
chitvam
tattvam.
samachi tattvam. Uh, the shlokas are a little small, so I'm
No
not able to
problem.
read.
It's okay. You read.
Uh,
Yeah. Continue. Not elated.
in Okay, not elated or distressed at material gain or loss by performing unbreakable devotional service, unalloyed devotional service, ananya bhakti, engaging oneself in the 9 processes of bhakti, aspiring to live in solitary place, vivikta desha sevitvam, not desiring to mix with materialistic people, live in association of devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nicely read. It is so clear here. It's very clearly it has been stated. So because I'll be sharing the PDF, so you can read over it again. ज्ञेयं यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म न सत्तन्न सदुच्यते.
I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world.
So he says, I will explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal. Day and night. The day and night are two sides of the same coin, right? One cannot exist without the other. We can say it's the day in the same place if night too falls over there. If there is no night, then there is no day also, right? Brahman, it is formless and attribute featureless. There is the trait is the object of work, this object of worship for jnanis. They are trying to focus on Brahman feature. But there is a personal feature of God, which is Bhagavan feature. It's the personal form of Bhagavan, right? It's the object of worship for devotees, for bhaktas. The bhaktas are looking for Satchit Vigraha, Ananda Vigraha of Krishna, personal form of Krishna. Whereas Jnanis, they are looking for Brahman feature. Okay, so who is residing within us? Yes, it is known as Paramatma. So all these three manifestations are of same supreme reality. They are of Krishna only. I had explained before also the Brahman feature, the Paramatma feature, and the Bhagavan feature. So later in verse 14.27 also, Krishna saying, Brahmano hi pratisthaham, means I am the base of the formless Brahman. I am the base. So formless Brahman, personal form of God, these are the two aspects of supreme entity only, Krishna only. That is what he is trying to explain. I am both. If there is no day, there is no night. I am both. सर्वेन्द्रियगुणाभासं सर्वेन्द्रियविवर्जितम् असक्तं सर्वभृच्चैव निर्गुणं गुणभोक्तु च.
Hare Krishna. The Super Soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the same modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all modes of material nature.
So here, Lord Krishna he is stating that he is the sustainer of creation. He is detached from it. He is creating, but he is not attached. He is detached from it. So in his form as Lord Vishnu, he is maintaining the whole creation, and he is sitting in our hearts, right? He is also sitting in our heart. He will note down the karmas, what all thought, word, and deed. He will note down everything, what, even if you're thinking wrong, but not saying also, that also goes into his account. So he's noting down our karmas and he will give us the report card. So you can see everything, later on, not now, you won't know, but he sees everything, the past, the present, the future. He knows everything. He lives in the heart, right? Our heart only. And he knows what we have done and what we did in the past, what we are doing now, and what is awaiting in the future. He knows everything. So under Lord's Vishnu territory, Brahma is there. He controls the law of material science to ensure that the universe is functioning properly. It is his job. It has to be very stable, right? Everything goes on time. Sun rises, sun sets, everything happens on time, you see. We may be lazy, but the nature works accordingly. So also under Lord Vishnu's territory or dominion, the heavenly gods are there, like Indra, Varuna, all those, air, earth, water, rain, everything is necessary for our survival, right? So God is the sustainer for everything. He is on the top. He is helping us. He is inside us. So he is complete in himself, yet he is detached from everyone. So Vedas also mention him, Atmaram, meaning one who rejoices in the self, but has no need for anything external. He doesn't need anything, right? At the same time, he is Nirguna, beyond three gunas. He doesn't come under material nature, Rajogun, Tamogun, and Satwagun. No, he is the controller of that. We are under Rajogun, Tamogun, and Satwagun. He is above that. He is the controller. We are beneath the material nature. So he is Nirguna, above the gunas. He is divine. He has eternal form. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Right? Eternal form. He is full of opulence. All opulences. I told you before also, 6 opulences. Right? He is the proprietor of all wealth in this universe. He is the owner of all energy in this universe. He is the most intelligent and he is full of knowledge. Can anybody claim that? No one in this world. So these are some of the symptoms of Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you want to ask God, he has to have all these. He is the maintainer of all living entities and he is the witness also in form of Paramatma. He is witnessing all the activities from inside the body. Let's move on. If anybody else wants to read, can. Baharentascha bhutanam acharam charamev cha sukshmatvat tada vijneyam durastham chantike cha tat.
The supreme truth.
Okay, go ahead.
Dia, yes.
The supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and the non-moving. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all.
So we understand that Narayana, the Supreme Person, is residing both outside and inside the living entity. He is inside four-armed Paramatma. He is inside our heart, super soul. He is present in both. He is there in spiritual world also. At the same time, he is in the material world also. He is very far, far away in that world, but he is very near to us. Where? Because he is right here in form of Paramatma. So he is very far away in the spiritual world, but he is very near to us in form of super soul. So such a nice way of explaining, right? Therefore, in Vedic language, it is said that we cannot understand him by our this kind of material mind and this kind of material senses. We cannot understand him. But if we purify ourselves, if we purify our mind, if we purify our senses by practicing like Hare Krishna chanting and in going in Krishna consciousness, doing devotional service, then we can see him constantly. Right? And it is confirmed in Brahma Samhita that devotee who has developed love for Supreme God can always see him without any interruption. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 11.54 also that we did already, right? In 11.54, that he can be seen and he can be understood by any devotional service, right? Whatever devotional service, but only by devotional service. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya ahamevam vidhorjuna means what? Bhaktya tva ananya means, my dear, and by undivided devotional service, I can be understood. That's what he said. So Let's see. Jyotisha amapi tad jyotihi tamasa paramuchyate jnanam jneyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam.
He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is the knowledge, he is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart.
He is in everyone's heart. And the super soul, the Paramatma, which is residing in our heart, right? He is the source of light in all luminous objects, sun, moon, stars. In Vedic literature, you will find that if you go to spiritual world, if in case you go, that's what is written in Vedic literature, that if you go to spiritual world, there is no need for sun, there is no need for moon, because there is so much of effulgence of the Bhagwan, Supreme Lord is there, right? There is so much of effulgence. There is no need for sun and moon over there. Lord Krishna confirms his supremacy in very, very different ways. There are various illuminating objects like you have sun, you have moon, you have stars, you have fire, right? But if you leave them alone, none of these have any illumination. They don't have the power to illuminate. But when God gives them power, then only they can illuminate themselves. They can illuminate. God will give you power. Anything can be illuminated. He is situated in our heart as supreme controller. So that supreme personality of Godhead, that super soul is the master of all the living entities. That super soul is the master, top, right? So there is no denying that supreme super soul and the individual soul are always different. We have one individual soul and we have super soul inside. That super soul is there in every living entity and he knows about every deed of everybody. The individual soul knows about my deeds only. इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासतः मद्भक्त एतद्विज्ञाय मद्भावो योपपद्यते.
Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain my nature.
Now Krishna wants to finish the talk about this body and the object of knowledge by telling the fruit of knowing this topic. However, he feels that it is fit to bring devotion and say that bhaktas or devotees can truly understand this knowledge. Those who are practice karma, jnana, ashtanga yoga and all that, without bhakti, you cannot understand the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Even though they may think that they understand, but no, without bhakti it is not possible. He says bhakti is the essential ingredient in all the paths. You can take any path. He's not saying don't take this path or that. You can take any path, but ultimately you need to have bhakti to be able to understand God. So what do we have understood so far? There is no personality like God, right? There is no personality like God. There is no path equal to the path of devotion or bhakti. There is no human equal to a guru, a bona fide spiritual guru. No human equal to a guru. And there is no scripture that can be compared with Bhagavad Gita. That's what we have understood so far. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavapi vikaramsha gunamshchaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan.
Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature.
We know that, right? Maya, Prakriti, material nature, Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. It is energy of God. It has existed from ever since the cosmic creation. It is eternal, right? The soul, it is also eternal. So here it is called Purusha, the living entity. Well, God himself is called Parama Purusha, right? Supreme living entity. So what is soul? It is also an expansion of energy of God. Both the living entities, the material nature, they have existed from cosmos, universal time, long time, ancient, right? So transformation. There are 6 stages, as I told you before also. You are born, you are in the womb, you are born, then you grow, then you procreate, then you diminish, you shrink, and then you die. These changes are brought about by Material energy only called Prakriti or Maya. Karyakaran kartritve hetu prakriti ruchyate purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktritve hetu ruchyate.
Nature is said to be the cause of all material activities and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in the world.
Vedas have told 8.4 million species of life is there, right? There are 8.4 million species. The soul gets some body form according to its past karma, right? And then it starts identify, yeah, this is my body now, this is my body, this is my mind, this is my intellect. It starts enjoying the body and the pleasures, right? The whole world has been sustained by God, and it is creating an illusion, Maya, which is unreal. And what is it creating? It creating actually misery to the soul, but we don't understand, right? For example, if I have cut my head in the dream, the pain and misery will continue till I don't get up. And then I get up and I stop dreaming. Till then, I will feel that pain. So, in this dream state, also, I'm identifying with my body, and the soul is experiencing the pleasure and the pain, also, right? According to the past and present karmas. So, as a result, it is responsible for both kinds of experiences. We are only responsible for our sadness or happiness. So, we have to remain balanced all the time. Try to at least. What is the solution to this problem? Chant. Chant Hare Krishna. Krishna will nullify everything. Krishna will help us, right? Krishna will nullify our karma, right? He will, if he is not able to nullify, then definitely he has another plan for us. So we have to have patience. So sometimes if we are placed in one body, we come under the control of Maya, straight away material nature, Rajogun, Tamogun, Sattvagun, right? At that time, we don't have the power to change the law, right? If I am put into the body of a dog, for example, as soon as I'm in the body of a dog, I act like a dog. I cannot act in any other way, right? So in case I am put into a body of a hog, then I am supposed to eat that stool and dirty gutter and all that. I have to do that. I have to act like a hog. Or if I am put in a body of a demigod, then I will act according to the body of the demigod, right? In all these, the birth of mine has been dog, my birth has been like a hog, my birth has been like a demigod. In all these circumstances, you know who is with us? The super soul, the Paramatma. It's always with us. Just imagine, even in the gutter, I am there and Paramatma is still with me, never leaves us. That is what is explained in Vedas. It is there in Mundaka Upanishad also, right? So it says that Supreme Being or the Paramatma is so kind upon the living entity that he always accompanies the individual soul. My soul is already there. It has to go in different bodies. But that super soul also goes along. So sweet, right? Oh God, in any circumstances, I'm in the gutter as a hog, he is with me. In all circumstances, he's present as the super soul or Paramatma. Very sweet of super soul, Paramatma. पुरुष प्रकृति स्तोयी भुंक्ते प्रकृति जान गुणान कारणम गुण संगोस्य सदसद्यो निजन्मसु.
The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he mixes with good and evil amongst various species.
In previous verse, what did Lord Krishna explain to us? That soul is responsible for pleasure and pain. Now he is explaining how this is so. Because our body is energized by soul, right? Otherwise, the body is lifeless. If you remove the soul out of this, what is this body? Dead body. So there is, if the soul is there, there is an activity. We are doing some action. Since the body is made up of this material nature, all these gross elements, we start getting influenced by three modes of material nature, right? Then we have ego, biggest thing. Due to the ego, what happens? The soul identifies itself as the doer. I am enjoying the body. Body, mind, intellect, everything performs the activity. Soul is held responsible. Actually, the body, mind, intellect is doing, but soul has to take the responsibility. For example, if a bus has an accident, you can't blame the wheels and the steering wheel for the accident, right? Who is answerable? Can anyone tell me? Who is answerable? Am I audible? Hare Krishna.
Mataji,
Yes,
can you
Mataji.
come?
Okay. If there is an accident, bus accident, Who is to be blamed? The wheels and the steering wheel, or
Driver.
driver?
The driver
Yes,
of the
driver
car.
is answerable. He is answerable to any accident that happens. Similarly, the senses, mind, intellect, they are energized by soul, and they work under its power, right? So naturally, soul is accumulating the karmas. Soul is responsible. He will be blamed for all whatever activities we are performing, right? The whole stockpile of karmas is there. It has accumulated from past lives so much by repeated births and deaths and all. Sometimes in good wombs, sometimes in inferior. Sometimes we are in animals, sometimes we are in trees, sometimes we can become a deity. You never know. You can see as in the picture, you can take birth from any of this anytime according to your karma. Upadrashta anumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti cha pyukto dehesmin purushah parah.
Yet in this body, there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul.
So Sri Krishna is explaining about the status of Jivatma, individual soul within the body. Now in this verse, he explains the position of Paramatma, the super soul. He is residing within the body too, along with our soul. So the supreme soul, who is located within everyone, he also manifests as personal form of the Lord, right? Lord Vishnu, the Chaturbhuja Rupa. That is what is within our body. You can see the picture also. The Supreme Lord in his form is Vishnu. He is responsible for maintaining the creation also. He is residing in Kshir Sagar, ocean of milk, at the top of the universe in his personal form. He also expands himself to reside in the hearts of all the beings as Paramatma. Inside, he is noting down the action, keeping account of our karmas. Then he will give the results at proper time. He is accompanying the individual soul. He is accompanying with whatever body you may take, he will come with us only. In each lifetime, every lifetime, the same. He does not hesitate residing in the body of a snake or a pig or insect. He is coming all along. Two birds are seated in a nest, okay? The heart and the of the tree. Two birds are sitting. So one is individual soul, one is super soul. The individual soul is busy enjoying the whole thing, and the super soul, the Paramatma, is looking at it. What are you doing? I'm writing down your karma, whatever you're doing, okay? So he's saying the individual soul, it is eating nicely, very happy. When bitter fruit comes, oh, Paramatma is watching all this. He's a friend, but he does not interfere. It's a friend. He'll just keep noting down everything. He just simply sits and watches. So if at all our individual souls can turn around and look at the Paramatma, all the miseries will come to an end. Just go inside. The soul has to look at the super soul. That is it. But the soul has been given some independence, free will. You can turn away or you can look towards God. Up to you. By improper use of free will, what happens? We are in this bondage. By learning its proper usage, we can turn towards super soul. We can attain the eternal service of God, and we can experience bliss. We can do that. य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते. Anyone else wants to read?
One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position.
So there are three entities in the creation, right? The ever-changing material nature is there. There is unchangeable souls. The soul never changes, right? And the master of both, the super soul, right? So we are ignorance of these entities. It's causing us this bondage in this world, right? Why is the soul in bondage? We are ignoring it. The knowledge that we are getting now, it can help us cut through this Maya. That is the knowledge Lord Krishna is trying to tell us. It is not just bookish knowledge or something, right? It is wisdom. The moment we realize this knowledge, what will happen? we will understand what Guru is telling, what scriptures are telling, then slowly we'll get into the spiritual practice, right? Lord Krishna is talking about the spiritual practices now. What kind of spiritual practices we can take on? ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये सांख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे.
That super soul is perceived by some through meditation, by some through the cultivation of knowledge, and by others through working without fruitive desires.
So God's creation, if you see carefully, full of variety. No two leaves are same. No two human beings have exactly same fingerprints or footprint. No two human societies are similar, right? All souls are unique. They have distinct traits. They are different. They have unique journey. They have their own journey through cycle of life and death. In this spiritual practice also, not all are attracted to the same path. Some want to do meditation. Some want to try to control their senses by meditation. Some wants to go through jnana. Some find great joy in doing karma for the happiness of the Lord Krishna. That's what he's explaining here. Anye त्वेमजज्जानन्तः श्रुत्वा नेभ्य उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्ते वा मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः.
Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the part of their birth and death.
Yeah, in Srimad Bhagavatam also, King Parikshit asked Shukdev Maharaj, he said, how can we purify this undesirable impurities that we have in our last anger, greed and all that? How to get out of this? Simply hear the description of divine now. Simply hear about Krishna. Simply hear about his pastimes. It will cleanse your heart. The enthusiasm for devotion, it will help us cut through all these obstacles, right? So what is the foundation of devotion? Enthusiasm and faith. First, you should have enthusiasm to listen. You should have faith in your heart. Both are the foundation stone. That that's where the devotion will start. If that is not there, enthusiasm and the in the heart and the faith in the heart is not there, it will not happen. Yavat sanjayate kinchit. Gunashri Mataji, you can read from here. Yavat sanjayate kinchit yat sattvam sthavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajna sanyoga tatviddhi bharatarshava. Hare Krishna. Gunashri Mataji, are you there? Okay, somebody else can read.
Mataji, sorry, I was reading with the mute.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. O chief of the Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field.
So in this verse, what have we learned? That it is, we have made with both material nature, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, self, ego also, right? And the soul. This is existing, right? This has been there from before also. So whatever is created is the combination of soul, the living entity, and the material nature. That is the combination. There are many things like trees, mountains, hills, they don't move, right? And there are many things that move, many existence. Without the touch of the superior nature soul, the living entity, nothing can grow. So that there has to be a soul, there has to be a body. If both come together, then only anything will happen. And there are non-moving things also there, and moving things are also there in this world. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyatsva vinashyantam yah pashyati sapashyati.
One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul is ever destroyed actually sees.
That's what, if we are in good association, we will understand that body, proprietor of body, individual soul, and the friend of individual soul, the super soul, is one who understands this. He is having the knowledge, right? And those who cannot see that this is happening, they're totally ignorant. They're simply seeing their own body only. And they think once the body is destroyed, everything is finished. It's not true. After the body is gone, soul is there. Super soul is also there. They go into another body. They keep on moving. Sometimes they go into the moving bodies. Sometimes they're going to non-moving bodies. They become a hill. They become a tree. So you never know. It depends on our karmas. So he's not, Krishna is not going to, going to explain devotee's life is changed as soon as he gets this knowledge that God is present in everyone. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nainastatya manatmanam tato yati param gatim.
One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, in every living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination.
See in the picture, he can see Paramatma form in everyone. So those who learn to see God, that supreme super soul present in every being, they start living in that knowledge. Every time you are aware that you're looking at other person, you can see Paramatma. They no longer want any personal gain. They don't want any enjoyment from others. They don't want any respect from anyone else. They are not attached also to others. Because for the good, they have, oh, I've done something good, I'm attached. No, you don't even hate them because they have done something wrong to do. Rather, you will see everything as part of God. You will have that healthy attitude, of respect and service towards others. So the mind is elevated, because you're seeing God in everything. You're seeing God in, as soon as you're turning around, okay, he's saying something to me, but he's Paramatma too, right? That kind of feeling you get. And then you finally reach the supreme God. Very good knowledge, actually. Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamani manani sarvashah yah pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sa pashyati.
One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees.
So the ego, the ego of being the body, the pride of being the doer, I am the one who is doing. I tell you, these two, they trap the soul like anything in the samsara of life, of birth and death. It ties up like anything. So in material consciousness, the ego, what does it do? It identifies with the body. I'm doing this. I'm the one who did it. I don't know why they are not giving credit to me. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. The enlightened soul, it will think differently while eating, while drinking, while talking, while working, doing something in the office. He will know it is the body that is acting, right? Because we know. It does not mean that we shrug our responsibility and stop doing any action. Nothing like that. We have to do all the action. Like president of the country, he may take the decision that, okay, we have to go for a Kargil war, but does not mean that he goes to Kargil and he will start fighting himself, right? We have to be responsible. The soul is responsible for the action, but don't try to think that I'm the one who's doing it. You give the order, you do the duty, but that's that is it. Yatha sarvagatam sokshmyat akasham nopalipyate sarvatravasthito dehe tathatma nopalipyate.
The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul, situated in the Brahman vision, does not mix with the body, though situated in that body.
Exactly. Soul experiences it, the sleep, the waking, tiredness, refreshment due to the ego. It identifies with the body. So one may ask, right, why there are changes in the body which resides and does not taint the soul? Why can't the soul is not tainted? It is, how the air, there is air everywhere. It enters into water, it enters into mud, it is entering into our stools also. Whatever else is there, air enters into everything, right? It does not go and mix anything. That is how the soul should be. That's what is saying. Yatha prakashayat yekah kritsnam lokamimam ravihi kshetram kshetri tatha kritsnam prakashayati bharata.
O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminates the entire body by consciousness.
So how is the sun? It is there. What is it? Illuminating the whole universe, right? Spirit soul. It is in the heart of the body. It is illuminating the whole body by consciousness. What is consciousness? It's the proof that the soul is present. Otherwise, you cannot even breathe. So as sunshine is the proof that there is sun. Sunshine tells me sun is there. So consciousness is the proof that soul is there. When the soul is present in the body, there is consciousness all over the body. Soul is gone from this body, no more consciousness. So this can be easily understood like if you are a little intelligent. Super soul, which is situated in all bodies, the super soul, Paramatma, is the friend of the individual soul, right? It is also conscious of all the bodies. Soul is conscious about my body. Super soul is conscious about all the bodies. That is the difference between super soul and individual soul. Kshetra kshetrajnayorev mantaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha te ye viduryanti te param.
Those who see with the eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from the bondage in material nature, attains to the supreme goal.
Now here Lord Krishna in his own style, he's trying to wind up the topic of the field, the body and the knower of the field, the soul. How did he sum up? He says, what is true knowledge? To understand the distinction between what is body, what is soul, what is super soul. You have to understand that. And those who do not understand, they are ignorant. They will keep on identify themselves as body only. So if you are a little bit intelligent, you will identify that, yeah, you have a soul and you are a tiny fragment of God, right? So they will start looking for spiritual elevation. I want to get away from this material nature. How do I do it? Now they start thinking because they've got this knowledge. So by treading on the path of spiritual enlightenment, such persons will get little bit of wisdom. They become wiser, and then slowly they will attain what? The goal. What is the goal? God realization. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. We need to go there. Krishna, Golok Vrindavan. Okay. Chapter summary here. Arjuna asked 6 questions. They have described what is Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Jnana, how to acquire knowledge, what is Game, the object of knowledge, then what is Prakriti, Purusha, what is the union, what is the vision of knowledge. And tomorrow we are going to learn about the modes of material nature, Sattva gun, Rajogun, Tamogun, right? And how is it's influencing our souls. Vanchakalpata rupascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. All 3 times, let's do Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
everyone.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.